Hey, what's up you guys? So today I'm gonna be giving you 10 things that you should know before you go to South Korea. If you want another one of these, let me know in the comments down below if it was helpful or just interesting. These are just 10 random things that I think you should know before going, 10 things that I wish I knew before going, but I'm sure I have plenty more up my sleeve if you guys want a part 2. For those of you who are new here, or just those of you who haven't been keeping up lately, I studied abroad in South Korea at Yonsei University for 4 months. I was living in Sinchon in Seoul, and it was an incredible experience. Anything I say in this video, even if any of the reasons sound like negative things, it's not negative, like they weren't problems, it's just more of something to be aware of before going. So if these sound negative, don't let it scare you. It's more just so the things don't phase you once you're there, because they're things that are not a big deal, but it's just something that's good to know in advance. But also if you guys want to know like my 10 favorite things about Korea and 10 like, I don't know, just lists of 10 things, let me know if there's any of those you'd be interested in, 10 places to visit, 10 restaurants to go to, cafes, things like that. I'd love to do that for you guys if you are interested, but let's just get right into this list of 10 things to know. Number 1 on my list, this is in no particular order, just the order I thought of them in. Number 1 is you will get stared at. If you are not Korean, you will get stared at. Not in like a rude way, I guess I don't know why they're staring, but not in like a rude way. Like I feel like in the US, like old man staring you down or something, like you're creeped out, you're scared, whatever. But it's not like that. Like you never feel like uncomfortable in that way. It's more of just a like, you feel uncomfortable just because you're not used to being looked at, you know what I mean? Like not used to just being constantly stared at like that. But really I think it's more of just being a foreigner, and you know, people are just curious about why you're there. And while there are a lot of foreigners in Korea, you'll see a lot of people of all races and ethnicities. It's certainly less common than somewhere like the US. And it's interesting to be in a situation like that. Because it's very interesting to see like not the same amount of diversity that you're used to. But yeah, no, it's a very interesting thing. And everybody's so nice about it. I mean, some people will ask you about where you're from and want to know things about, you know, the country you're from and things like that. So it's not in a rude way, but just be aware that you're gonna be stared at. Just try to ignore it is my best advice. But I will add that while I never felt threatened or super, you know, uncomfortable in like in a way other than just being like, oh, people are looking at me, if you ever feel like it's very just not okay, and if it feels unsafe, certainly, you know, do something about it. You know, if it feels creepy and somebody's following you and things like that, obviously don't ignore that. But for the most part, if people are staring at you like on the subway or anything, they're just curious or just staring, I don't know. Number 2, you will get pushed and shoved and bumped into, but it is not intentionally rude, which is something that was very easy to misunderstand at first, which is why I want to say that in advance, because you can take it the wrong way at first if you're not aware it's gonna happen. And maybe some of you that live in big cities now are already used to that. I do not come from a big city, so I am not used to that kind of push and shove, people in a rush kind of environment. So it was a little, I guess, a little off-putting at first, but then you know, you do understand that it's just how it is. Like nobody's doing it to be rude. It's not meant to be rude at all. It's just people are used to it, it happens, so just nobody really thinks much of it because they've all gotten ran into that day as well. And you know, it's just sort of a mutual agreement of like, there's not a lot of space, we're gonna bump into each other. So that's just something to consider before going, just because you don't want to take it the wrong way. I mean, it feels bad when you think it's rude and like, oh, somebody pushed me, or you know, like it feels bad. So it's better to know that there's no ill intention to it and that it's just kind of how it is. Nobody's trying to be rude, nobody's doing it because you're, you know, different or anything. But once again, if somebody literally just punches you, like, I don't know, somebody punches you and knocks you down, obviously that is a different thing. So I'm not dismissing all of these things, but I'm just saying for the most part, these things are just cultural differences, and it's not, you know, to be taken the same way there as you'd maybe take it in your home country. But like, obviously there's an extreme to everything that is not normal there, so don't ignore things that should be taken seriously. Number 3, there are going to be a lot of things that are hard for you to find in Korea that you might be used to having at home. They will either be hard for you to find or they will be super expensive when you do find them. So they are things that you're gonna wanna bring with you. Some of these things are that I noticed, I'm sure there's others, and maybe some of the things I'm mentioning are not that hard to find, but I had a hard time. Deodorant. That is not very commonly used there because they just all smell lovely and hardly sweat. But if you need deodorant, you're gonna have a hard time finding it there, and when you do find it, it's gonna be super expensive. So stock up on that when you're visiting, if you're there for a long time or anything like that. Bring that with you. Razors, like for shaving, are, I mean, you can find them everywhere, but they're just pricier than in the US at least. And things like pads, expensive, so expensive. I'm like, this is a crime how expensive these things are. So that's something to bring with you too if that is something you need, just because it'll be harder for you to find there. Number 4, you are probably gonna break out like crazy. I know I did, I know a lot of my friends did. I think it's just a combination of a lot of things. Traveling is probably just stressful. The food is super spicy, which some people were saying that it could have been the spice in our food that was making us break out, or just a change in diet in general that was making us break out. But also, we think some of it had to do with the pollution, the air pollution, because that is not something that our skin is super used to. So literally I had the worst acne of my life while I was in Korea. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I usually don't break out too much, but just while I was there, like, it was awful. So just a warning that that might happen. But of course, you're in Korea and there's skincare galore, so you have plenty of things to help you out with that. They also had some stuff that was like especially for like, I had like an anti-pollution face wash while I was there, so that was super helpful. But yeah, don't worry about it too much, but just as a warning, like, I guess just be prepared for it. I don't know. I mean, it's really not too bad, and there was plenty of products to fix it. And as soon as I went home, skin went back to normal, but it was stressful at first. I was like, why? Why is my face such a mess? Number 5, the taxis are a little bit scary. This might also just be a I'm not from the city thing. I never have to take taxis usually. I don't even take like Ubers or Lyfts or anything. They drive fast. Really fast. There was one situation we were in a taxi that was going like 100. And I mean, it was late at night, but so there weren't a lot of cars out, but like we were flying and I was freaking out. Be very careful of taxis when you are walking, and buses. Traffic is crazy because it's a city. There's also a lot of scooters that people are like motor scooters that people are delivering food on and stuff like that. So just be careful of vehicles there. They don't stop their vehicles for pedestrians in the same way that they would, say, in the US at least. I don't know about other countries, but just be very, very careful and always look where you're going. And I know that sounds like such a look both ways across the street, such like a mom thing to say, but just seriously be careful. There has been a lot of like deaths and accidents in Korea and stuff, and they always show people getting hit by cars in the dramas, and I was always like, someone's getting hit by a car again. Like every drama I watch, but now I get it. I'm like, it's probably just common. So just make sure that you're aware of that and be careful. Like, it's not like they're gonna fly off the road and just knock you over, but like, just be aware. Just look when you're crossing the street. It's not too big of a thing. Number 6, you cannot always flush your toilet paper. This is one that took some getting used to for me. I guess this is a common thing in like a lot of countries, not just Korea, but it's just something with the plumbing. It can't handle the toilet paper very much. It's like at home, there's certain things you shouldn't flush at home. It's just like toilet paper is just one of them there. There are some toilets where you can flush it. Usually there will be a sign in bathrooms that says like flush the toilet paper, or it'll be like don't flush the toilet paper. But generally, if there's a giant trash can next to the toilet full of toilet paper, you're supposed to throw it away. And if there's not like a trash can, then obviously you just throw it in the toilet and flush it. But it took getting used to. I mean, it's a little bit gross if you're not used to it, but it's kind of like whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But just so you're aware, it's just, I think, respectful to follow that rule, just because you don't want to mess up their plumbing. Like that, I don't know. It's not too big of a deal. Just throw it in the trash can. And also, one time before I knew that, I tried to flush the toilet paper, and I had to flush like 6 times, and it was not even a lot of toilet paper, and I was like, oh god, I broke the toilet. But yeah, so just, it seriously is hard for it to flush, so just follow that rule if you see that on signs, and just be aware that if you see a trash can full of toilet paper, that's what's happening. Number 7, you're going to walk a lot. You're going to be in shape when you come home from Korea. I was in like the best shape, well, not the best shape of my life. That was probably like way back in the day, but I was in such good shape when I got home from Korea. You walk a ton. It takes a little bit of getting used to at first. Obviously, if you're not used to walking around, like I don't live in a city, I don't walk many places, I usually use cars, but it's really nice actually to be able to just walk everywhere and take subways and things like that. The public transportation is great. It's very safe in Korea, so you don't have to feel unsafe walking and things at night. Obviously stay with a group, you know, be safe, be cautious of your surroundings, but it is very safe. You'll walk a lot, it's great exercise, but just be aware to bring good shoes for walking, comfy clothes and stuff like that. Number 8, also a little bit on this trend, there are a lot of hills, so get ready for some uphill walking. Get ready to get your workout in. Number 9, you should be respectful. This is just a obvious, I feel like, heads up, is just remember to be respectful. Remember that the culture is different. Just always be really respectful to elders. I mean, in the US, I feel like we kind of treat, obviously you treat adults differently than you treat somebody your age, but it's still a little bit more of an equal playing field. But there's just a lot about respect, and just so be respectful. You're in another country, you know, just be polite and, you know, just be nice. Represent wherever you're from the best you can, and just be kind to everybody there, because everybody there is so nice and so accommodating to foreigners and helping you out if you don't understand Korean and things like that. So just be respectful, and, you know, just things like simple things, just like bowing and, you know, like saying hello to people when you walk into stores. Like really even just that goes a long way, and I'm sure that they really do appreciate foreigners who take the time to do those things. And it's not a hard thing to learn, you know, just 안녕하세요 and just bow when you walk into places, and, you know, just know how to say thank you and just things like that. Just be aware of what you're doing, and just make sure that you're being respectful of the country that you are in. And number 10 thing to know before going to Korea is you're gonna have the time of your life, and you're probably not gonna wanna go back home. Korea is incredible. There's so much fun stuff to explore always. There's always so much going on. There's K-pop, you know, there's festivals literally happening all the time. There's cool cafes everywhere. There's so many cool, awesome stores. There's so much going on in Korea, and you're gonna have an absolute blast if you go there. It is so much fun. And so I hope that you guys found these 10 things to know helpful. Just, you know, things that I wish I had a little heads up on, you know what I mean? Like nothing that's too big of a deal, but things that are much less shocking if you know them in advance. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to check out my other videos from Korea, vlogs and things like that if you're thinking of going there, or if you're just interested in the country. Maybe you'll find some cool places to go. Let me know in the comments down below if you want any more 10 things series videos, I don't know, about Korea, anything you want to know about Korea, or if you want more things that it's like, I wish I knew before I went, or things like that. Hit that subscribe button down below if you are new here, and I will catch you guys later. Bye!